There's a season of life that a lot of people go through, but almost nobody talks about. It's the season when you suddenly become the one responsible for everything, the one everyone depends on, the one who has to stay strong even when you don't feel strong at all. For me, that season came when both my parents were sick at the same time. My mother was battling cancer and going through chemotherapy. My father was dealing with dementia and slowly losing his eyesight. And somewhere in the middle of that, I became the one holding everything together. There wasn't a handbook for it. There wasn't a break from it. There was just the responsibility. And if you've ever been the one carrying that kind of weight in your family, you probably understand exactly what I'm talking about. My mother had been diagnosed with multiple myeloma. That diagnosis meant chemotherapy treatments, hospital visits, infusion appointments, and the emotional toll that comes with fighting cancer. But at the same time, my father was beginning to decline. His dementia was progressing. His eyesight was getting worse. And the reality was that he couldn't be left alone. So whenever my mom had an infusion appointment, I had to get both of them ready. Yeah, think about that for a second. Preparing someone to go fight cancer for the day while also caring for someone whose mind was slowly slipping away. I would help my mom get ready for treatment, and then I would help my dad get dressed, get him into the car, and the three of us would go together because there just wasn't anyone else who could stay with him. Those infusion appointments could last for hours, sometimes most of the day, and I would sit there watching my mother fight cancer while also trying to keep my father calm and oriented, because dementia doesn't pause just because you're in a hospital waiting room. He would ask questions like, where are we? Why are we here? When are we leaving? And sometimes I would have to answer the same question 5 to 10 times in 10 minutes. Not because he wasn't listening, but because his mind was losing the ability to hold on to the answer. You see, what people don't always understand about caregiving is that it's just not physical work. It's emotional responsibility. You're trying to stay strong for the person who's sick, but you're also trying to process what's happening, sometimes in real time. There were days in those infusion rooms where I would just sit quietly and just watch my mom connected to IV lines, watching the medicine drip slowly into her body, watching her fight cancer, and then turning around and looking at my dad, just trying to understand what's happening around him. And somewhere in the middle of all that, I realized something. The two people who had carried me through life now needed me to carry them. That realization changes you, because you understand that the roles have shifted. The people who once protected you, they now depend on you. And there were moments where the weight of that responsibility felt heavy. Not because I didn't love them, but because caregiving can be exhausting. Emotionally, mentally, physically. There was no break during that season, just responsibility. You know, something else happens when you're the one holding everything together. People start assuming you're okay. They assume you're handling it. They assume you're strong enough to manage it all. And maybe you are, but that doesn't mean it's easy. There's a phrase people say a lot: stay strong. But strength doesn't always look the way people think. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes strength looks like sitting quietly in a hospital room for hours. Sometimes strength looks like getting up every day and doing what needs to be done. Even when you're tired. Even when you're scared. Even when you wish someone else could carry the weight for a while. But you got to keep going, because the people you love need you. And in that season of my life, that's what strength looked like. Just showing up over and over again. There are a lot of people living that kind of life right now. People caring for aging parents, people navigating dementia in their families, people sitting in hospital rooms, people making decisions they never imagined they would have to make. And many of them are doing it quietly, without recognition, without applause, without anyone really understanding what they're carrying. If that's part of your life story, I want you to hear something. You're not alone. There are more people walking that road than you might realize. There are people who understand what it means to be the one everyone depends on, the one holding things together, the one who has to keep going even when life gets heavy. And that's the reason this channel exists, for the caregivers, for the people carrying responsibility, for the ones who keep showing up when life gets hard, for the strong ones. And if you're one of those people, this space is for you. Because sometimes the strongest thing a person can say is simply, I'm still standing.